down the basement, lock the cellar door, and baby, talk bloody to me.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Talk Bloody to Me. I'm Matt,
And I'm Breezy.
and we're a little giddy with excitement because Crypticon is just about a week away, and we are pumped.
Super excited.
Exactly. It's going to be so much fun. This week, before we get to Crypticon, we have to do one more. We're going to talk about a couple movies. We're talking about The Dentist 1 and 2. I wore my white shirt that reminded me of a dentist, so I can look like here to attend to your needs.
Wow.
But I actually had never heard of these movies before. Breezy was the one that told me about them. And when did you first find out about them?
I actually first found out about dentist number one and two because we're going to be talking about that. The first one, I didn't really see dentist number two until like later on.
Hmm.
But I actually, when I was a little kid, because this came out in 1996.
Right.
So at the time, Coburn's had that, movies and stuff that you can rent.
Oh yeah, we used to
And
go to
at that
Coburn.
time, yeah, at that time, DVDs were kind of getting there, but it was like VHS. And I seen like, oh, dentist, why fuck, why not? So that's why yep.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I miss going to the video store. We also had Coburn's, and you go to the video section, walk through the horror, and just look at all the different boxes and all the crap that was on the front of them, and be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this looks good." And then you'd rent something like Video Dead or something like that, and zombies coming out of the TV and scars you for life. And it's like, I miss those days.
Yeah, those were the best times.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of weird movies that I saw thanks to the video store. I think nowadays the equivalent to that is probably streaming, I guess, just looking
Yeah.
for something weird. But The Dentist came out, as you said, in 1996, and it stars what's his name? Let's look.
Corbin, like
Corbin Burnson.
Bernstein or Bernstein or something like that.
Yeah. And so he basically, the premise is he's a dentist, and he's a little kind of goofy to begin with because he was worried about his wife smoking cigarettes, and he said he was going to have to brush his
Yep.
teeth. But then he catches his wife giving the pool man the old beej right there in front of him, and he's like, "Oh my God. Ugh. Ooh, it's his mind is blown." And plus, it's not the only thing that's blown, huh? But anyway,
Yeah.
so he's getting some tax problems with the IRS too.
Yep.
So that's enough to push him over the edge. He's gonna go like sneak into the neighbor's place and shoot his wife or shoot one of them, but then the neighbor kind of busts him, so he ends up going to work. And then he's basically just the dentist, psycho on his patients. And
Well, like for the reason why he's going psycho is because like he's not really that bad of a dentist because he does a really good job.
mm-hmm,
But when he works on patients, he tends to go on a flashback to, his the patient say like there's a woman like on the chair
mm-hmm,
and he'll work on him. He thinks that it's his wife
mm-hmm,
that cheated on him. So
yep.
it's like all spinny, like kind of ruby effect. You know,
Yep.
I don't know how to explain it. It's like it backtracks, but it makes that like kind of
That
deja vu. What do you want to say?
Right, that's the perfect way to describe it. It's like it gets all wavy and shimmery, and he like has like hallucinations, like he's seeing his wife, and then he's convinced there's rot everywhere because he blames like the sort of decay of morals and everything, and it's rot, and he sees their teeth as all black and gross, and then he's in there digging away like and they're all
But
like
really, there is not no decay or nothing. He
hmm.
sees it, but it's actually not really there.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, are you scared of the dentist in real life?
I actually not scared of them. I just don't really like going to the dentist, but I do to, keep my teeth healthy and clean and stuff.
Hmm.
I think it's more so the smell.
Yeah,
I don't like the smell of going to the dentist.
yeah. I don't. I don't I'm not scared of the dentist, but like I don't think anyone really likes going to the dentist. I mean, if I'm sure there's some people, there's like Bill Murray in Little Shop of Horrors that they just really they get into going to the dentist and get off on it or something. But
Yeah.
um I just don't like people having their fingers in my mouth. That's what I don't, well, with instruments and all that jazz. But
Well, it actually depends on who's working on your teeth. Some people do like don't even fucking give a flying fuck, and they do really like they jab you. It's like,
right.
hello, that kind of fucking hurts.
Yup. You get a
But
bad
see,
one and then it just kind of throws you.
yeah. But see, like for my anxiety, because I have anxiety. So
Hmm.
when they have to do like say like I have a cavity and they gotta work on it, well, they do the Novocaine, obviously, but I do the laughing gas because I love I'm like so relaxed. But yeah, in the movie they do laughing gas too. He would put the, laughing gas and then so they can be all loopy, but he doesn't do Novocaine.
Yeah, exactly.
Go straight in. I'm like, ow, I'm sorry, but even with the laughing gas, that's gotta fucking hurt.
Yeah. There's a lot of good scenes of like just yanking teeth out and
Hmm.
sound
That's
effects
part
and they're
two.
crunching and yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's right. But like his this kind of like a word. I think the reason why I asked if you're scared of the dentist is because I think that's why the movie works, is because there is just kind of that helpless, you kind of put yourself in sort of a helpless position where you're in that chair and you're leaning back and there's a guy with all these drills and tools and things, and what if he actually did go psycho, well, and you didn't know about it, and like none of his assistants knew about it and you just
Yep.
were there and
And that's what happened. And the first one, because the first one was actually at a dentist.
mhm.
And the second one, well, we get to that point, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about that until we get to part two.
Yeah. But he does eventually get his revenge on his wife,
Mhm.
and he cuts her tongue out and rips all her teeth out and her mouth is all gross and weird. Oh, there's the IRS tax guy that he like pries his mouth all open, it's all crazy looking. I should
Yeah,
ask you, what's some of your favorite scenes in this movie?
I will talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Those like those prongs like they put in your mouth, they go.
Yeah, I don't
It
know
kind
what
of
they're
reminds me
called.
of that fucking game that you put your mouthpiece in, you gotta talk.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it's kind of like a clamp, but instead of sealing shut, it goes open. And I'm
Like
sure there's
wide
a
open, yeah.
yeah, there's a
Speak out.
word.
That's what it's called. Speak out
Oh,
game.
oh yeah.
You put the like a little plastic, you go, you're trying to speak the word.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me.
It
So
is what it's like.
yeah. So what
Mm,
was my favorite scene in part one?
yep.
You said? Um, I actually really like all scenes.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
However, I do like this is kind of fucked up for me to say, but where that blonde chick was sitting there, like she already had the laughing gas,
Uh-huh.
and I don't think she had the Novocaine, if I
Uh-huh.
remember correctly. But he was like sitting there, like putting his finger in her mouth, and she was
Oh yeah.
like suck his mouth or suck his finger, and he
Yeah.
was being so turned on by it. I'm like, you know what? This is kind of fucked up, but it's kind of fucking hot too.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, like it goes to where she's not wearing the gas mask or the laughing gas, and she's like sitting there like fucking naked, and she's like doing like this. I think it kind of reminds me of his ex-wife,
Right. Yep.
kinda, but it's not.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that is really
But
hot, actually.
yeah, but yeah, that's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Um, but and then there's another scene in that movie where he comes in and he chokes her.
Oh
I think
yeah.
I think it's the same girl, and he chokes her, but she doesn't really like die
Hmm.
because the what are they call office people came in.
Yep, they barged in, and then her agent comes in and kind of rescues her, and he's someone that's famous. He's actually played by Mark Ruffalo, who, if you're a fan of Marvel, you might know who he is. So if you know who Mark Ruffalo is, put it in the comments, and we'll shout out to you. But
Yeah, he was in Dentist Number One, wasn't he?
yeah, dentist number one. He was the agent of the blonde actress that the dentist got a little crazy with. Took her undies off in that scene you were just talking about, or her
Oh,
panties Yeah.
Oh, her nylons.
Nylons, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, nylons.
Yeah. Anywho, so there's like the teenage girl with her braces, and she's really excited to get her braces off. And like every time that agent walks past her, he shoves her. He like shoves her two different times. Like
Yep.
he's messing with her. He's like, "Oh, you could be a model. You should walk the walk and do this." And so then she gets up and she's walking around. He's like, "Yeah, great." And he basically like forgets all about her and is like,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, because he like talks to him like, oh, you should be, have you modeled before? And she's like looking, I'm like, no, like, why?
yeah,
I'm not that her vibe is like, I'm not that pretty to be a model, but sure, I'll try a walk. And she does this like in the
right.
waiting room.
Yeah, she's like flattered by the attention, and
Yeah.
then he just basically like leaves her in the lurch. Like he's like a big asshole, and then he just leaves and he's gone. Like I was waiting for the dentist to dentify him to do some dental work on him, but no, damn you, Mark Ruffalo. Anyway, so I think yeah, I just like the whole movie, but I like all the scenes you said too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually he does get caught, and then he gets into a psycho ward, and you
Yep.
can see him like trying to fight, and then the prison people come in, like,
Mhm.
okay, it was time for your checkup, or dental work or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like doing all this, like, no, no, no. And then you see him get put in the chair. And when I first seen it, I thought that it was the prison guys. No,
Uh-huh.
it was actually the chick,
Yep.
his ex-wife, but
Yep.
he has like no teeth and
Yep.
has like some like staples, like thick staples around your
Yeah.
fucking teeth. And that's when the number two looks like on
Yep.
the movie poster or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. So what would you rate dentist number one?
I would definitely give that a 9 for sure.
Nine?
Yep. What about
Okay.
you?
I think I'll give it a 6. I don't think I liked it quite that much as you did, but it definitely was good. It has a lot of gross scenes and a lot of exciting scenes. And so yeah, I'll give it a 6.
It's a cringy movie. Don't If you don't like
Yeah.
dentists then at all, then don't watch it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because
But I don't think many people hear about these movies.
no, I've never heard anyone talk about the dentist before. So moving on to Dentist 2, he is in the escape ward, the escape ward, good grief. He's in the insane asylum. He escapes and he has like a metal piece shoved into his arm, and he like digs it out and like threatens the woman with it.
Yep.
And then he's living in the country town, um, just trying to be old regular Joe, but they keep trying to talk him into being the dentist of the town. And then he goes to the dentist because he has a cap comes off his tooth,
Yep.
and he's kind of like, this dentist sucks. He's not real thrilled with him. And then on the way home, his thing comes back off. And so then he goes back and is like, you are an incompetent dentist. You are an incompetent dentist. And then he like murders up, throws him down the stairs, basically. And then they basically convince him to take over as the new dentist. So then it's Dentist 2. He's back in business.
Yeah, but this time, like I said on the for the part one, his when he works on the dentist office, it's not actually like a dental office. It's actually he bought a home and
Yeah,
then he made a dentist that way, his office that way. So it's like a private like
right.
deal.
Can you imagine going to someone's house for the dentist? Like, oh, I'm gonna go to my dentist. You pull up to like this house, you walk in
No,
their front door and go through their like kitchen and then sit down in a dental chair. It's
no,
like,
absolutely fucking not. No.
right? It's like I'm already sketched out. The guy doesn't even
Yeah.
have to be psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Um, there's a big surprise in this movie. All of a sudden, who walks in the door? But Clint Howard of all people.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, Clint Howard is actually in this movie. I'm like, oh my God. But he's
Yeah.
actually Mr. Toothache, and he goes in there and because he has a toothache.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, I don't know, probably like 35 minutes into the movie or so. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he goes in there and he like goes and works on him. He goes, no Novocaine still,
Yep.
and no laughing gas. And he's like talking and he start working. He goes, oh, you fucking asshole, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he got away on that one too.
No, he kills him. I
Okay.
think he kills him.
Yeah, because he does the shot through.
Oh, yep. He does a
Yeah, now,
syringe
yep.
and yep. But there's a part when he's working on Clint Howard, and I think he's kind of I think it's supposed to be a hallucination because if this was really what happened, something was horribly, horribly wrong with his teeth. But he's like poking at his teeth with like one of those picks, and it like pops open, and a bunch of like white pus comes shooting out. Like
Oh yeah,
it's
God,
just it's
yeah,
so gross.
yeah.
It's like I don't think teeth actually have pus in them like that, but oh
No,
my gosh, that was yeah,
probably an abscess or something like that. I have no idea.
yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. So and his ex-wife has hired a detective to track him down to get revenge. And
Actually, it's not actually not the ex-wife. It's like his girlfriend. He has a new
oh, okay.
girlfriend. Yeah, he has a new girlfriend, and her name is like Lydia Hoffman, who played Brooke. Her name is Brooke.
Oh, gotcha.
She played Brooke, and that's his dentist girlfriend. I'm getting confused.
Right.
But his girl, no, it's
She
girl.
reminds him of his
Yeah,
wife though. They're both blonde. It's kind of like his serial killer profile. He goes after the blonde women
yeah,
that remind him of his wife kind of thing. But yeah, and so they're trying to date or whatever, and he's going all psycho on her every so often. And the scene that really sticks in my mind is Clint Howard with his damn teeth. He's
yeah.
like, Doc, and he's like, Doc, I never forget a face. I'm gonna remember it. And he's like, well, were you ever at a Dodgers game? Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna think of it. Don't you just worry about it. And then finally he's like, how about LA? Were you ever in LA? And he's like, murder.
Yeah, that was a really good saying. That,
Yeah.
but yeah, the one scene that I do like in that one was um even though that girlfriend did cheat on him, and even though she denied it, well, actually, yes and no, because like she get a phone call from, oh no, at first he was driving and he sees that chick, his girlfriend, to this bouquet with a flower coffee
Right.
shop, and he sees this guy with her, and
Yeah.
they're about to kiss or whatever, and he just freaked out
Yeah.
every right soul because he's already been through it before.
Right.
And then he comes to her, I'm like, hey, you doing this and doing, I'm like, no, it's just a friend. Are you sure?
Hmm.
And he like they were going on a date, and he just completely smashed the vase of roses.
Yeah. Yeah, he went
Oh,
ape shit.
yeah.
Yeah, the way I understand it is that this is like a dude that has a big crush on her, but she thinks he's just a goofy friend. But one time in the past, way before she ever met the dentist, it was Thanksgiving and they basically hooked up. And then because of that, he's all like, hey, remember that time? Remember that? And she's all like, it was no big deal. Jesus, just get over it for God's sake. And so he's all like, trying to like, hey, we should do like we did on Thanksgiving. And the dentist overhears it and it's like, what? You never told me about this? What the hell? And like hasn't goes ape shit berserk. So
Right.
that's the technical term.
Yeah, I think like my favorite scene out of like part two, because there ain't much, it was to me, part two was a little bit dry than part
Hmm.
one. There
Hmm.
ain't much graphics in part two rather than
Right.
part one. So I think my favorite scene in part two is there's a scene, I think it was a guy or girl, I don't remember, but he was working on a person, a client, and all of a sudden you see fucking roaches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you see roaches, but it's actually not there.
Yeah, that was and they were like crawling around moving in the mouth like and then he like pulls one out and is like looking at it like
Yeah.
and it's just so gross. Yeah, I must have suppressed that. That was disgusting.
Yeah, that was fucking nasty. There's another one too. I forgot. There's another scene where he's working on, I know it was an old guy. I think it was like part one. Um there he was working and he was like, move your mouth, or move your tongue, and he kept moving his tongue, like, stop moving your tongue, and then
Uh,
he kept pretty much cut his tongue off by
yeah.
accident, but it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But
I liked when he's got at the end of the movie and he's got his girlfriend in the chair and he's gonna basically like do his dental business on her, and like it shows it's like this beautiful white room, it's all
yeah,
lit up pretty, and he's like,
it's
this
like
is
a
it.
gothic style.
Yeah. It,
Yeah, with the gothic chair. Kind of reminds me of BDSM.
yeah.
It really does.
Yep. And then they show it, like they show like what it really looks like, and it's just like a shitty room, like it's not even finished. There's like drywall and crap hanging down, but then in his mind, it's like the fucking gothic BDSM dentist room.
Yeah, it's like he had a gothic like black, gas mask and gothic black. It was all gothic. I actually really love that.
And like
'Cause
opera music playing.
yes, and she was wearing like a black dress and he was like all fancied up, like in his
Uh-huh.
tux. And like she lays down and he fucking puts that on. He must have put it really on high because after he put it on, she's like sleeping and then hand tied. I'm like, oh my God, this is like BDSM style. I fucking love it. I'm
Nice.
weird. I'm weird.
No, nothing wrong with that. So the dentist too, and then it ends like I really like the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending, but I really like it a lot. Oh, there's one part I really like. It's so subtle, but it actually I like it because it's so believable. Is he's at the office and the secretary's there and he looks at the magazine. It's like something like Iraq invasion. He's like, "This is from 1992. This is out of date," and he just starts going nuts
Yeah.
and throwing magazines and like whipping in the magazines at his secretary.
Yeah.
And it's like not that big a deal, but it's like I could see a person actually doing that in real
Yeah.
life, you
Yep.
know?
Oh,
Like
for
just
sure. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
pissed off at the dentist, like, you're not doing a good job, blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, you
yeah.
missed appointment. You got to oh, yeah. Blah, blah. I can see that.
Yeah,
I definitely.
yeah, exactly. And then so then at the end they have the whole big fight and all this, and he's all covered in blood, and they're shooting each other with a nail gun because the room wasn't finished, and he has all these nails in his face, and then he comes out and they turns on the light and everyone's there, like the whole town is there, and they're all like, "Surprise! Welcome our new dentist!" And he's like, "Ugh," and then they're all like, "Oh my God," because he's all covered in blood with nails sticking out of his face.
Yeah.
And then he drives away and his tooth comes off and he's like, "Oh, look at that." And he's picking at it with the nail, like, "Oh, ha, ha, ha." And that's how it
Yeah.
ends.
I just don't like the scene where this is in part two too, where another woman was there and he was just yanking her teeth out.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Just took it and just rip it right out after one after another.
there was she worked for the bank and she was kind of nosy and nosing into his business, and she somehow tracked figured out the fact that he wasn't who he said he was, and so she went there like a genius and sat in his chair and started asking him questions like, "Hey, aren't you really from Washington and not LA or something like that?" And
Well, he did ask her, I'm like, now, you either going to tell me the truth or now that if you tell me the truth, this is what's going to happen. If
yep,
you lie to me, this is what's going to happen. And like it was one of her like cavities or something like that.
yep, oh that's right, yep, yep.
No, it was one of her cavities. It wasn't the one with the yanked out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, but without Novocaine, God dang it, that's gotta
Yeah,
hurt.
and the sound effects, the sound effects is just
Yep. Well,
one.
the sound effect sounds like it's dead on too.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I'll say is a little lacking is the music and the soundtrack. It's basically just one song, and it's like a
Yeah.
like a keyboard kind of thing.
Yep.
But it is cool. But it's like okay, that could use a little help.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would
But
you rate it on that one? Part two.
part two, I was gonna rate it a 4, but then Clint Howard, I'm gonna give it an extra point just for that. So I'm gonna give it a 5. I didn't like it quite as much as the first one, but it still was good.
So I would say I probably gonna like this lower too. Probably like a 6 because of Clint Howard's in it. So and
Right.
that was a good scene. I
Yep.
wish he'd stayed in there longer.
He every second he talked was just magic. Like he delivers his
Yeah.
lines so perfectly.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, the dentist and the dentist too. Some creepy dental hygiene fun with a little few kinky scenes thrown in to boot.
Yep.
So that's it. Unless, do you have any final thoughts?
Nope, that's it. That's it. Dentist number 1 and 2.
All right. Well, next week we're gonna crank out an episode right before Crypticon, so stay tuned for that. And then I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about after Crypticon. So,
Oh yeah, definitely. Gotta can't wait.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.